Good evening.
Good evening, sweetheart. How are you?
I am good. How about yourself?
Hanging in there. We have a wonderful guest tonight, a dear friend of mine, Leitreanna Brown, who I've known for the better part of a decade now. But before we bring her on, I know that she is as kind, loving, compassionate, and sensitive a soul who walks on the planet. So she will understand that we cannot do the show tonight without talking about what happened today. And what happened today is that film footage was released of a brutal killing, which occurred in Memphis, Tennessee. We founded this show. You and I, Tony, had a very long talk before I just sprung it on you. Do you want to do a world awakening with me? Reboot the show from what it was. And, this was now at least a couple of years ago, I think,
Right.
longer than that. It's been a while. It's been a while. And we kind of developed a mission statement, and that was to leave the world better than we found it 2 hours before on every Friday night.
Right.
To put enough good, positive energy and uplifting, enlightening discourse into the world that we make at least that much difference to the good in the world every Friday night. And I really think that for the most part, we have lived up to our mission statement. We have not really gone astray. We openly discuss things of import. Sometimes I swear a lot. It happens. It just flies out of my mouth. But tonight, as the whole country and the whole world is watching a man be beaten to death at a crosswalk in Memphis, Tennessee, we have to talk about this. And what is it? What kind of mindset how much complete, utter, total lack of humanity is required to do to a human being what they did to him?
Right. Agreed.
There will be accountability. There absolutely will be. I hope that this changes the discourse. I hope that this enlightens a lot of people, because this isn't red or blue or black or brown or white. This is, are you a decent human being or are you not? And the chief of police yesterday said, and I can only, in Memphis, I can only paraphrase what she said, but basically, if you can look at this video and not respond the same way his own family did, with that level of revulsion, disgust, then you're not being.
Right.
And
Right.
watched accidentally about 30 to a minute of it. That's all that I do see. Right. We as a society come to understand that the level of violence that exists in our society and the mindset that we can exercise force over one another. There were no guns drawn. This is not a guns argument. This is not a race argument. This is a power argument and a fear argument that must be had in our society.
And I agree with that.
my mother left the room as soon as the video dropped and she started seeing, special report come up on the TV. She's like, I'm out of here. And the reason that I'm leaving is if I stay and I watch this, I'll never be able to unsee it. It will put images into my mind that I won't ever be able to escape from. And that is the power of video. It's the power of the video that exposed the murderers of George Floyd. It is the power of the video that was taken at the murder of Breonna Taylor. It's the same video that was taken with Walter Scott in North Carolina, and on and on and on and on. And when do we wake up and understand that we are killing each other? This was a common traffic stop. The man didn't know why he was being stopped. He got afraid. He should have been afraid. He ran and he paid with his life.
Yeah, absolutely just horrible. Sorry.
Is that my time's up button?
No.
Bring the guest in. Is it the easy button that you keep on your desk, my dear?
No, it's just a device that is running low on battery. I got to just plug it in and charge it.
I understand. Well, with that being said, let's bring in our dear friend, Leitreanna Brown, and you know her as well. So stay on with us for a while, as long as you want. And the three of us, hopefully, we won't have any computer glitches and we'll be able to chat with each other.
All right, here she comes.
Hey, everybody.
Lou.
It's my beautiful, beautiful Lee. How are you, sweetheart?
Thank you, Andrea. I'm doing well, and I've been looking forward to this. Thank you for inviting me. I do need to make a quick pause, okay? I don't know if you were watching television before our show, but we've experienced as a planet a serious trauma. And I'm very concerned that this gentleman will not, Tyree, I'm afraid he's not going to get the proper farewell because there's going to be so much about this. I do want to say that he is a hero because he brought to light and he suffered for a reason. It may not have been apparent at the time, but this is something that needs to be addressed. This terrorism has got to stop. I appreciate police. I love Memphis. I go there on a regular basis. I have many friends there. The thing that worries me,
It's okay. I think her signal dropped off, but keep going.
So what I feel is that Memphis is not like any other place I've ever been. There's very little prejudice compared to other southern places I've been. I didn't recognize any, being that I'm Native American and Polynesian, as many other races, like all of us mutts here in the United States. I didn't see any prejudice behavior. Everybody had there's colleges everywhere, so everyone's well educated, and they're beautiful people in Memphis. I did not experience any prejudiceness. I didn't experience. I did get to see a gorgeous police officer on this big black stallion on Beale Street, and I said something to him about, "Can I pet this beast?" And he said yes, and I petted his knee. He was like, "Oh my gosh!" It was really funny. The police there were very, very down to earth, loving people. I'm struggling with how this happened. This is not normal for Memphis. I don't want Memphis to have this problem because it's not normal.
It was almost like a gang mentality. It's like like a pack of wild dogs that had just been unleashed. Each dog individually would have been fine.
Yeah.
But when it backed up and it blood lost its shit, and I don't know. I don't know how to explain human behavior. I don't know how to explain that kind of aggression.
Well, there's
I some serious soul searching to do. This is not a reflection on Memphis, the people of Memphis. I mean, look how the police department has handled this right from the inception. Immediately, the woman at the helm there could not be more well spoken, could not be more clear on what she sees.
She's as beautiful inside as out. I've met her.
Yeah. Oh, have you? Well, she's extremely well spoken, and she is right on top of this, and she has been with a certain urgency and immediacy that we have not seen in other cases. Look at the man in Louisiana that was pulled from his car and, basically beaten to death. And this was 2 years ago, and it's just now coming to light because it got buried. It got as buried as he did.
I know.
I mean, and we could pull up the names of just those, who died, driving while black just in the last couple of years, and it would fill the show. This is an out of control situation among many in the country, and what I hope and what I pray for is a full night and a full weekend.
Yeah, I am with you.
There is a way to protest, to be angry, and to bring your opinion to light without burning down the Dollar General, without burning cities down. It's not Memphis's fault.
Right.
It's not. And what we should pray for is that cooler heads will prevail, that people will adhere to and honor the request of the family, that any protests be peaceful.
Yes.
Not just in Memphis, but from coast to coast. And that now would be a good time for all of us to set an example of what peaceful protest looks like. And we should gather together from coast to coast and bow our heads in reverence and respect for the dead. And we should pray together that this kind of brutality comes to an end, and not just with our systemic issues in policing from coast to coast, because the vast majority of police officers are there to serve and to protect. The vast majority of them are. But when something like this happens, we have to ask, what was the mindset that kicked in? Because I don't believe for a moment that each one of those individual officers on their own in any given situation would have necessarily behaved the way they did when they all got together and started calling in more officers and started, turning what was supposed to be a routine traffic stop into a murder.
Right.
There was a certain amount of energy that went into that. I mean, one of the officers kicked Tyree in the head so many times that he had to limp away from him. Did he not think that there would be permanent damage done by what he was doing? This is, I was in Scotland this past summer, and I heard about and saw some of the savagery that existed in Scotland hundreds and hundreds of years ago in the prisons and how they treated each other, and the extremely wide variety of ways that they found to torture and murder each other. And I was appalled by, I couldn't even believe that that the UK survived the kind of brutality that existed in the Middle Ages, and then into the Renaissance, when this is supposed to be the age of enlightenment, and women were being burned alive as witches, because the church wanted their property. And I have to ask, Lee, how far have we really come? How
We
far
haven't.
have we come? How civilized have we become? If this can still happen, this kind of gang violence, brute force can be exerted upon this spindly guy that was, thin, skinny and tall and terrified out of his mind.
Yeah, he
And he
was.
could have been treated like this. How far are we really evolving? I think that, knowing you as well as I do, I think that I can rely on your spiritual nature. And, Tony and I talked about, because he's like, I know her. I know her.
Yeah.
Yeah. Um, because of your deep insights, your American Indian heritage, which is so clearly on the surface with you. Um, how do we evolve in a way where nobody gets left behind? Compassion and empathy rule the day, and we get beyond this. Please let him not have died in vain. Let
Exactly.
us as a society learn something from this and support his family and lift up his community. There were houses all around where this was happening, and I didn't see anybody come out of their house or stand on their porch in the little bit of video that I saw, to protest, to, stop
Right.
this. Like, people were stopped on the streets during George Floyd's murder, screaming at the cops who were basically just, ignoring them. But at least people were making an effort to intervene on behalf of Mr. Floyd as he was dying. And I think people are so afraid to get involved, so afraid. They see blue lights out their front windows, they close the windows and draw the shades because people are afraid. And I think that is the core of what holds us back from evolving spiritually. That
Absolutely.
is, you
You are
agree
right
with
on
that?
track. Absolutely. I feel like death has lost its respect. I don't think that people look at how they will die or when they will die, and they don't honor the people that have passed away. It's all a sideshow. It's all fantastic. And, in my belief system, what I feel, based off of what I've been taught over the years, is that, you dress the body in special garments, and then you show them honor and respect, and you speak of their Hogan, their home, or their family members, and they're shown respect. And I'm afraid that what's coming next is going to take away whatever respect should be shown to Tyree and his family, that the sideshows just started. And I'm very concerned about that. I wanted to do a memorial to Tyree with you tonight. Uh, in my belief system, it we don't say goodbye. We say "Dona go hini," and that means until we see you again. And that's his spirit will be with us. What did he learn? What did he experience? How would this be resolved? What kind of seeds are we sowing? And
Exactly.
I care deeply for the family, for everyone involved, and I don't think people realize they belong to each other. They are too
Yeah.
busy taking sides, and they don't see each other as a community.
Hmm.
So I don't want to say goodbye to him. I would like for all of us to say thank you for living your best life and working and all the things you did. We're so very sorry for all the pain that you experienced and the terror and the pain, the physical pain and emotional pain that you know your family would be in.
Yeah.
And there is no word for goodbye. And do na dago hini, and it means till we meet again. and I welcome him back. And I just hope that we will become smarter as our ancestors is trying to teach us. This is something that we've been teaching for generations. I say we natives as well as Asian families, that you need to be a tribe, be a unit, take care of each other, not just your family, what lives in your home, but your whole community. The people around him should have been out there losing their minds, saying, "What are you doing?" Every phone should have been on that poor man. There should be accountability. It doesn't need to be just from the camera that the police wear. Have
That's
we
right.
really become that desensitized? And I do
That's what
think
I'm
we have.
afraid of.
Yeah.
It is. It's what I'm afraid of. And I know that his spirit lives on. I know that his mother is just as devastated
Oh,
as Breonna Taylor's mother and Walter Scott's mother, and on and on and on. And just, one of the most erudite, prophetic comments I heard last few years were from George Floyd's daughter, and her uncle hoisted her little body up on his shoulders, and she yelled out to the world, "My daddy changed the world."
yeah.
He did not die in vain. But there are those that would say, well, didn't he? If this could happen again, didn't he die in vain? Yep.
I just
Yep.
don't know if the message is strong enough, and I don't know if it's being received deeply enough so that the desensitizing isn't taking over. I mean, there's just
Yeah.
a certain amount of people just don't care.
Well, Lee, you know your history. I know you very well, and you know your history. And um, I've been to Gettysburg, and I've been to Antietam. And at Antietam, now photography was in its infancy, but photographers came onto that battlefield, and they filmed and photographed the remains of the day of the Battle of Antietam. And those photographs were put out from coast to coast in every newspaper in America, and were seen around the world. And those photographs helped end that war. It changed public opinion. It it altered the course of American history. The Battle of Antietam, not just what happened, but that it was essentially witnessed by everyone that
Right.
had access to a newspaper. And it changed the dynamics in Washington. It changed the military. It changed public opinion. And it was the beginning of the end of the Civil War. It wasn't long after that.
I've been there, and the spirit that
Yeah,
I feel there,
yeah,
it's like a sea, like
yeah,
an ocean wave that falls
yeah,
over you when you're
yeah,
there. And the more reverence that you show, the more healing you feel like you're giving to the people
yeah,
that suffered. If you look at the way children were treated in the Civil War, especially, you know, not just children, but children that were um, little orphans after a certain point. Look at how they were treated. Like they were treated like animals, locked in basements and closets, starved.
bonds.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah.
Um,
I am constantly mortified, shocked, mesmerized, stymied, and appalled by man's inhumanity to man.
yes.
I cannot even, up at the Slater Mill, which was one of the first mills in what were the colonies going way back. It was the immigrants and their children that ran the mills up
Right.
in Pawtucket, Rhode Island, that made the first textiles that at the dawn of the Industrial Revolution.
Right.
And it was not uncommon for both of the parents to be working in the mill and for their children to be the runners in these massive machines where if a spool of thread came off of its thing, they had to run through this mechanized piece of heavy equipment
Yeah. It's a
that
loom.
could, if they tripped, they were crushed.
Oh, sure.
And they were crushed often right in front of their parents.
I know.
And there was no, it was take the body out of the building and everyone get back to work. There was
There,
no room for grieving. There was no expectation that even either of them could leave with their dead child
there's
ill at
a
work. It is horrifying to me.
Oh God, yeah. There's a
Absolutely
there's
horrifying
a
to me.
place not far from me,
And
Penny. That
I have to ask.
Go ahead.
No, go
Oh,
ahead.
I was just going to tell you, in my book, Family Spirit, there's a story about Bloody Thursday. And I don't know if you remember it because it's been quite a while, but if you read the story, you'll see why I married my husband. I bought a house in a textile mill village, and I was by myself. I had my daughter at the time. I was a single mom, and the house was wickedly haunted, and my daughter could see everything, and my daughter was interacting with a spirit. Now I'm supposed to be able to see these things, correct? I couldn't see anything. I could It wasn't for me, which frightened me because what what are we dealing with here, and why are you not talking to mom but you're talking to my child? I scooped my daughter up one night. I had $12 to my name, and I filled my car up and I bolted straight to my mother and grandmother. What is this? As it turns out, the reason why the house was haunted, a little girl was shot in the house. And the way that it happened, the house was a wooden structure. It was a wooden home with siding, and there was a textile mill not far behind the house. And they decided, the employees of the of the mill, wanted to have a union, and that was not going to happen. The man that was running the mill, that owned the majority of it, was also the sheriff. See,
Oh, well,
you see
yeah.
what's happening now, okay? Very
Yes, I
similar
do.
to, okay. He deputized a bunch of people that were his friends that all had weapons, and he said, "Do this for me, and I'll buy you the guns you need and all the ammo." Put them on the top of the mill, across the top, and when everybody organized a protest, he said, "Ready, aim, fire," and they shot into the crowd, and those bullets went through houses and killed children, killed employees, and a lot of who knows how many people were actually killed, and so many hurt. And they were given that night to bury their dead, and the next day they had to be back at work, and nobody talked about it. They were told, "Don't talk about it." And a little girl was killed in my house. We figured it out. We had a tree taken down, and it rolled over and hit a piece of the siding. And when it fell, we saw bullet holes in the wall. We started doing some investigating, and as it turns out, a little girl was killed in my home, and that's who my daughter was talking to. Her name was Kelly, with a EY on the end. We're not. It's not getting better. We're just hiding it better. Thank goodness for social media and news and things, so we can see this happening much quicker than back then. But it was all over the world about
Yeah.
little Honeypath, South Carolina. So if you want to look that up, it was called Bloody Thursday. It happened on a Thursday, and that's why my story is called that. Um, I've never seen anything like what happened in that house. It was a bittersweet situation because eventually Kelly started enjoying being a child with us, and It worked out. It was quite a mess, though, for a while. She played jokes on us. She was very mean spirited. She was angry. And this is what I'm afraid that Tyree's going to go through. Who knows what he's reeling through right now?
Yeah.
That's
Well,
why I said what I did, you know.
I saw a photograph of him holding up his newborn baby, his little boy, who is now 4. But it was reminiscent of the Lion King, when the king goes and holds his baby up for the whole world to see at the top of the mountain, and you could see the joy in his face. I only saw the photograph for a few seconds. I was passing through the room and I looked, and it was, they were showing a montage of photographs, and I've been avoiding a lot of the news because it's too hard for me. It's just too hard. I can't watch Ukraine. I can't watch, what's going on in Afghanistan. I can't watch. I mean, I stay very, very well informed. Please don't, get me wrong, but a lot of my information comes from reliable written sources too, because
that's what I do.
I can't look at the pictures because that's the power of the imagery, which is why I started talking about Antietam and how it shifted
D-Day
psychologically. Yeah, yes, exactly. Today is the day that Auschwitz was liberated. Look what they found when they went in. They sent in cinematographers and photographers with the troops to document what they found at Auschwitz during Liberation Day. And those images are iconic. Yeah. They are with us forever. Now, how do you deal with the deliberate, provoked rise in anti-Semitism in this country at the same time that we all have access to all of those photographs? And we live in a country who, people have freedom of speech. But when you get behind a microphone and a keyboard and a camera and you put out to millions of people that Auschwitz didn't happen, that the Holocaust didn't happen, I'm sorry, but that's something beyond free speech. That is willful provocation. It's beyond ignorance. It's willful provocation.
That's right.
To pour gasoline onto a fire that has, going back all the way a few years ago to, what happened in Charlottesville. The Jews will not replace us. Excuse me? What fucking country do you people think you live in? It is really hard for me to, we've talked about this. Remember, we sat out behind the inn and we talked about this.
Oh, I know.
9 years ago.
Can you believe it's been that long?
I know. But, oh, darling, we're talking about the same thing.
I know.
We're talking about the same thing all these years later. And how can we live in a country and in a society where we're not growing at a rate spiritually, we're not evolving at a rate that is stopping these things from occurring? We have our differences politically, that's fine. But I'm sorry, anybody that can deny that Sandy Hook school shooting happened,
or
that the Holocaust was a hoax and completely fabricated, needs to have their lips sewn shut. I have had it with the bullshit, with the lies, with the George Santayana. We talked about it with your mom, George Santayana. Those who do not remember the past are condemned to repeat it.
To repeat it. Absolutely.
So where
Because
do
they
we
didn't
go,
learn it.
Lee? Where do we go from here? Oh, wise sage woman that you are.
What do you do?
Where do we go from here? What do we do?
Only thing
I
I
wore
see
my
it.
spread more love sweatshirt tonight.
Oh man, I need a glass of wine with that statement.
Yeah.
Because only thing we can do on this side of things is to sow seeds of kindness. I was eating dinner with Matthew earlier, and there was a young lady coming through, and clearly she's battling cancer. From her appearance, I could tell easily. And, I could tell she was enjoying her dinner with her friends. And she looked just like the girl across from her, and they were talking and giggling. And I said, "Is this your sister or your best friend?" And they said, "Yes." Yes, it is. And I just talked and giggled with him for a second. And Matt said, "That was really kind of you." And I said, they're living their best life right now. I want to contribute to that laugh. I wanted to
Yeah.
be part of that fun. And I say that to everybody here. Everybody that's listening, with anybody within earshot, please pass the word that love does conquer all. Sow seeds of kindness. You might not be the one to reap it, but you can plant the seed and water it everywhere you go. It's a choice. And yes, people will take your kindness for a weakness. That just means the lion might be sleeping. You've still got teeth. Don't be afraid to be kind. Don't be afraid to be kind. That's the only thing that we can do.
Well, one thing that keeps people from engaging and interacting that way is their fear of rejection. We've talked about that many times on this show,
Oh,
many
yes.
times. Their fear of rejection. That if they're nice for somebody or they do something nice for somebody, if they're not acknowledged or, they're, some like,
Yeah, I
that
get
it
that
will,
too.
that will hurt their feelings and that they will, uh, that they will be put off. And so what?
Well, I'm Southern, right? We
Yeah.
all hear the Southern accent.
Yeah.
Here's a phrase for you. It's bless their heart. Oh,
Yes.
bless your heart. It can mean nasty. It could be sweet. It could be so many things. You have to remember a blessing. Try to take it a
Yeah.
little more
Yeah, I
literal.
know. I say that all the time, but I
Oh, bless
always
their
mean it
heart.
exactly the same way. Bless your sweetheart.
Yeah, just
I
if you
mean
don't.
it the same way
Yeah,
all the time.
I don't mean it every time the same way, but I'm trying to push myself that way. I'll say, "Oh, bless your heart," and I'm thinking, "Wow, you really missed the whole picture on that," but that's okay. I got you. I try really hard to.
Because we never know, Lee. We never know somebody else is going through, what kind of a day they had, what their life circumstances
Oh,
are.
excuse me.
You know,
I bumped the
it's
computer.
it's you did. I see that.
Woo! Something that I have been um, stressing on programs. I do my show Family Spirit International,
Mhm.
and my co-host Blaine Rohan. You probably remember him. He said hello, by the way.
Very
He
nice.
always, yeah, he's a sweet man. He always talks about, being that he's a veteran, he always talks about suicide and suicide prevention specifically. And I
Yeah.
want to stress this: we are living in a very, we're living in a pressure cooker. What
Yeah.
happened
We
to
are.
Tyree was a pressure cooker moment. It just spiraled out of control. I don't understand it. I don't want to understand it. I just pray that that ripple will not cause a tidal wave. I
Yeah.
hope that we can put that fire out. And so I'm saying to you tonight, everyone listening within any of these broadcasts, if you play on demand, I'm not sure, but if you're having
Yeah.
problems with suicidal thoughts, depression is a disease, and people will listen. I will listen.
Hmm.
And there's a hotline number that you can call. It's 988, and that is the Suicide Crisis Lifeline.
Hmm.
And please give yourself a chance. You might feel a sinking feeling, but it might be the energy around you that you're picking up on, and you can turn it around. But it takes baby steps, just like I was saying, planting seeds.
Yeah. Yeah. And gardens don't grow overnight.
No, they don't. And
And
you
they
got to
have
be
to be
gentle.
tended, and they must be watered, and they must be groomed and
There you go.
weeded and fertilized and nurtured and cared for. But eventually, what springs forth from Mother Earth is abundant and opulent beyond our wildest imagination. And as a metaphor, it is one of the most perfect, because these things do take time. And I understand that, but I cannot help but be impatient in terms of, I need to see that we have some forward momentum, that the world is waking up. I need to see that we're making a difference, that what you're doing, what I'm doing, what Tony's doing, what Bill's doing, what Erin's doing, what you know what we're all doing collectively as a tribe, as a clan. We have people that watch this show all over the world, and and we have a group of people in Australia and a group of people in New Zealand that watch it live on Saturday morning.
Oh, how wonderful.
Yeah, and we had somebody on last week from Kuala Lumpur, I think. I'm like, oh shit, I couldn't even find that on the map if I wanted to.
I bought a globe today because I am going to
yeah.
remember these things.
Yeah.
I'm looking for countries too. It's crazy.
Yeah.
But you're making a difference, Annie. You're making a difference.
We are a global community. We are a global society. And what we're all striving for is that unified field of consciousness where we achieve a realization of oneness, where we all understand that we are all completely, utterly, inextricably interconnected, interwoven like the fine filaments of a grand tapestry. And it takes each and every one of us to complete that tapestry. And that's to me, that's such an easy thing to visualize.
I love your turn of phrase. I have missed that so much. You can really paint a picture. No wonder everybody's watching you.
Well, but the thing is that we use this time, as I was saying with Tony, every week we use this time to bring people on that have something of import to share with all of them. And every week, we grow a little exponentially, and everything's archived so they can go back in and see other messages and other guests and other.
Oh, I love it.
So that it is, it's a point of contact, a point of connection.
Right.
I think with those of us who honor our own soul and our own ability to think in a way that puts off an energy that ultimately, immeasurable, can conceivably change the world for the better.
Well, yes. Being aware, keeping up on what's happening in the world, and knowing that you are part of a tapestry of friends that are listening, that are paying attention, and you matter. If you take the stance that you matter, then guess what? You do.
Yeah.
What you say and do makes a difference. You don't know if your words kept someone from committing suicide. I had that happen. I've had someone tell me that I complimented them on something and I didn't even remember doing it. And they told me that it stopped them that day from committing suicide. I had a lady at the tax office that was taking my payment tell me that I told her she looked good in the Walmart or something. She was in Walmart and I told her how great she looked, and she needed it so bad that day. She was actually having cancer treatments, and she thought she looked bad. And she came from around the desk and gave me a hug to tell me how much that meant to her. I don't even remember doing it, but we have to take the time to
Well,
be
because it comes
sincere.
naturally.
Yeah, it does.
It really, it does come very naturally to you, and it does with me too. I think that that's, you know, part of what drew us together initially, when we first met. It
Yeah.
was like, oh, I'm going to know her for the rest of my life. I mean,
Oh,
that's
yeah.
just,
Well, the
you
first time
know.
I met you, you had just saved someone's life. You
Oh yeah,
remember
I
that?
remember that.
Yeah.
Yeah, tell everybody that story.
Oh my
That was
gosh.
wild. We were in the middle of
Yes.
downtown Aiken, South Carolina.
Yes. We were in the middle of downtown Aiken. Andrea had come in early, and we were tangled up in traffic, and we were coming in, and Andrea decided to step into this cute little cafe. It was just a darling
The
cafe.
Blue Moon
The
Cafe.
Blue Moon, a very eclectic looking,
Mm,
different color plates, and
yeah,
art
hippie
art
zone.
made of
Yeah,
things.
I
Yes.
gravitated right to it.
Oh
Yeah.
yeah, me too. And Andrea sits down, and the man beside of her goes into cardiac arrest.
No, it was a woman.
Oh, it's a woman.
Yep, it was a woman.
I
Yep.
remembered seeing the outfit that looked
Yeah.
a little
Well, there was a
androgynous.
guy that kind of, leapt right in to help.
Oh, yeah, that's right.
Yeah.
But a lady went into cardiac arrest, and Andrea did CPR on this person, having this medical knowledge. Andrea was able to save this person's life. And it was serendipitous. I guess that's the word, right? Serendipity
Hmm.
that you
Yeah.
were there in the right place at the right time. This person was not meant to leave yet.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
everyone there was giving you all of the you're welcome here anytime, good job, and everything, and you said no,
Mhm.
no, I was where I needed to be, and I did
Yeah.
the job I was meant to do.
Yeah. I
And
was sitting at the table beside her, and I looked at her, and I saw something was not right. Something was not right. And she started going over as I got up out of my chair. So I caught her before she collapsed on the floor, because of the way she was sitting. Her head would have struck the solid concrete floor,
oh,
like, first. That would have been what stopped her fall.
well,
And
that could
so,
have killed her,
yeah, and
banging her head.
so I just flipped her like a fish, and got her. I did what I needed to
You
do.
did exactly what you needed to do. And that same type of energy that you had sown at that moment for that person continued when we went to the Carriage House Inn, that had been a Civil War hospital
Yeah.
and a leprosy colony. And we
Mhm.
spent hours talking to a patient that had died there,
Yeah.
but
Little boy.
still there
Yeah.
because he didn't want to make anyone sick.
Right. He was so afraid to leave the building, because he was afraid he would pass the disease to others. He
And
didn't understand that he was dead.
I'll never forget the voice I heard when the church bells started, and he wanted to go to the church. That was
Yeah.
his church. And we
Yeah.
were walking outside. The sun had gone down, thank God, 'cause it was like 106 degrees
It was
Fahrenheit.
108 degrees.
It was
No,
awful.
it was 108 degrees.
Ooh, I'll never forget it.
Yeah.
It was the surface of the sun that day.
Yeah.
And we were going to the cemetery, the Civil War
Yeah.
cemetery down the road, and that little spirit walked with us and kept us cool,
Yeah.
like we had air conditioning,
Yeah.
until it was time for him to turn, and he went on his way.
Yeah.
Now, see, kindness begets kindness.
Yeah.
It breeds it. And I say over and over, healing and love comes at every stage of life, including death.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
I guess I'm a counselor for the dead. I don't know.
Well, Lee, you really are a counselor for the living and the dead. I basically got to watch your kids grow up,
Oh,
and
yes.
see how your influence shaped them so dramatically, because, of course, Matthew, being in the military, was not always there. You carried a lot of burdens well, and a lot of responsibility well. in your life. You're one of the hardest working people that I've ever known. I mean,
Oh,
nothing gets in your way, nothing slows you down. I don't even understand that kind of energy. Like, it's one of those, I'll have what she's having moments, Oh my God.
oh,
Um,
thank you.
but I mean, your family is just beautiful beyond measure. Your mother is an inspiration to
Oh,
me.
thank you. She loves you so much. Oh
She's
my goodness.
precious.
She's a sweetheart. And Matthew loves you as well. Elijah's 21 and he's engaged. Can you believe it? He was your little um,
My little
sidekick.
peanut. He was my
Yeah,
sidekick. Yes.
yeah,
I
he
have
was your
another
sidekick.
peanut now, except she's got four legs. She's laying right
Oh,
here,
oh,
getting a
let me
belly rub.
see.
You want to see Peanut? Here, come see
Yeah.
Auntie Lee. Come see Auntie. This is my
Oh
baby.
my
Oh,
goodness.
this is my
Uh,
baby.
this
This
is
is my
Ginger. Look,
baby.
this is Ginger.
Hi, Ginger. Oh, look, there's Ginger.
Yeah, she's a
Oh,
little
she has
snuggle
bigger.
bug.
She has got bigger ears than you, baby.
Yes, she does. She's
Mm,
part Chihuahua, part Italian Greyhound. I don't know how that happened, but
I don't know. No, that somebody left the damn cage door open is what
that's
that
it.
is. Yeah,
Yeah.
no, I got me a full blown Chihuahua, and you know me, I've always had dogs that are average 120 pounds.
Oh, yeah.
And why the universe decided to drop this in my lap, I will be forever grateful. Who
Oh.
would have ever thought that I could fall this hard for a Chihuahua? She's got her own pillows on our bed.
Oh my
Okay.
goodness.
Yeah, she
Ginger's
does.
got her Ginger has a tutu and she's got many sweaters and she's got her own bed and blanket.
Very nice. That's
And
wonderful.
and she's got a pink studded collar.
Oh,
Here's her
well,
collar.
Peanut has a
Yeah.
pink studded collar too, but she's not wearing it because she's free right now.
Oh.
She's free. When she's at her grandmother's house, there's a big, huge fenced in area. So the collar doesn't have to be on her because she's always right in an enclosed area. And
Oh, how
I'll
nice.
tell you today, this little dog today, knowing everything that was, coming down the pike. Oh, Erin, I
Oh,
know.
Aaron.
Erin's got Bernie. Oh,
Oh,
I know, Lori. We cannot help it. We cannot. We're just suckers for pretty faces.
they
Yes,
are.
Melissa, it is the Princess Peanut Buttercup. This is my
Oh,
baby. Oh,
yes. This is all Ginger. See how big her ears are? They're the
they
size
are
of her face.
enormously large.
And she can hear everything.
It's my baby.
She's only 5. And all that gray makes her look, much older,
Yes.
but she's something else. I had a little Chihuahua, Jack Russell. His name
Mhm.
was Merlin, and he was my service dog. And he passed, and I thought
I'm
I was
sorry.
going to die. And I started doing some volunteering um, for the Humane Society,
I
and
remember.
I helped place 68 dogs. I was so proud.
Oh,
And
that's great.
Ginger fell in my arms and chose me.
Yep.
And I said, "Am I ready?" And I said, "Well, she's ready, so I guess I better get ready."
So you better get ready.
Yeah, I want to show you this. This is a flashlight. This little, am I going? Yeah, that's wrong.
Yep,
This
I see it.
That's a flashlight, and you press it. And so when she goes outside, she's got a fenced in area, but she must have her flashlight. So I turned it on for her.
Oh, that's so sweet. Peanut would be like, "Oh, excuse me, what is this? What is this on my neck?" Oh my God, it's so funny. I have to tell you this. You know what? Tonight would be a really good time with in all the sadness and the grief and the anxiety. This would be a good time to tell a funny story.
Mm-hmm.
Um, it was really bitchin' cold here. You live one state away.
Oh, yeah.
And I'm in Georgia. I've been in Georgia since Erin and I came up December 4th. So I've been here for a while now. So we've been through some pretty cold weather.
Yes.
But sometimes it's strange in the South. You can have cold weather where it's super, super dry, or you can have cold weather where there's a certain amount of humidity and moisture in the air. So you can get up, and even if it only dropped down to like 28, 29, the frost is so thick in the morning that it looks like it snowed, right?
Right.
I mean, we've all seen that in this part of the country. And so I let Peanut out the other morning, and it was
Uh-oh. She's come. Oh, she's frozen.
Yeah, I think she froze again.
So,
she's having difficulty here and there with signal going in and out, but
so Tony,
sure
while we're waiting on her to come back, oh, there she is! Yay!
I'm here. Oh God, it's Tony. It's going to be one of those nights, dude. I'm telling you right now, it's going to be one of those nights. I got to finish the story. I don't know why it all went away at the best part of the story.
Darn it!
But Peanuts did her little squatty thing. And all the steam rose from it, and she turned around and looked at her back end and looked at me as if to say, "I'm on fire."
Oh my God.
She's like, "What is this? I'm on fire." Oh my God, she's so precious.
Oh my sweet baby. Oh, she was so scared.
Yeah, I know you were scared by your own steam, honey. You got the COVID. Are you okay? She got phlegm. She has phlegm today. This dog got me through a really hard day. And, very often, as you know, you're as much of an animal lover as I am.
Oh, yes.
Just knowing and dreading, what might come from all of this, regardless of the forewarning, regardless of the requests of Mr. Nichols' family. This could, turn into...
Could be really nasty.
Yeah, because we're dealing with a multitude of individuals, and a lot of whom have entirely different agendas.
Well, I'm completely in love with Memphis. I love it. And
I do too. It's so beautiful, and I want it. I don't want Memphis to be punished.
I don't.
I want the officers who did this to be punished, not the city, not the state, and not the country. But I do want all of us to be enlightened. And unfortunately, just like the gruesome, horrific photographs that were taken at Antietam, I hope that the film footage of George Floyd's murder.
Oh, that was horrible. I was throwing up at one point.
I know, it was beyond grotesque. Beyond. And now this.
I mean,
and the film footage, some of which was released, very little, of the man that was dragged to his death in Louisiana, and then his family was lied to about why he was even stopped. This has to stop. This has to stop. And
luckily, I'm not afraid of police whenever I'm dealing with them. I've never been afraid.
No, I'm never.
I don't know why.
Lee, it's easy for us to not be afraid. I mean, we're white women. We're, harmless in the eyes of law enforcement. We're the ones that are a quick, easy.
Are you sure I'm harmless?
Well,
no.
They don't know you the way I do. Okay. But I mean, we're the quick, easy stuff. We are. It's like they know we're going to follow directions. They know that we're going to give them our license and our registration.
We'll have insurance.
We're going to pay the ticket if we get one. They know that chances are really, really good that we're not going to draw a firearm on them when they walk up to the, again, here we are. Fear. I have no fear. You have no fear of the police. They are the ones that come to the rescue. I've had my life saved by a police officer on Cape Cod. You know, when my car broke down in
Oh
a
yeah.
snowstorm and I could not see, and he got to me and got me out of a life-threatening, surely a life-threatening situation.
Well, I have
Um,
2 police officers on my paranormal team.
I know you do. I know you
Yeah,
do.
and
And I have lots and lots of police officer friends, Greg Lawson among them, down
oh
in
yeah.
Texas. You know, I have a lot of people that I know that work in law enforcement who are as mortified by this as we are,
Yeah.
finds this as detestable as we do,
First
and
thing I
finds
did
it
was
a
I called
blight.
Jason. I said, "Jason, what the hell?" He said, "Lee, I don't even know.
Well, we
I
can't.
don't know."
No, we cannot afford as a society, even though we're all on the same canvas and the paint goes on the same palette.
Right.
We must be mindful not to paint with too broad a brush.
I love the words. I love those words. Thank you, Andrea Perrin. Don't put everyone in the same
That's right.
on the same, yes, don't paint with a broad stroke. It's so true
Yeah.
because 96, I live in a little town named 96.
I know, and
And
that's so weirdly. Who names their town a number? I mean, what kind of moonshine were they ingesting that night?
oh, moonshine. Let me tell you this. Oh my gosh, we were doing an investigation of this little farmhouse, and they said, "Why don't you go investigate the barn, and then we're gonna get this set up." Blah blah blah.
Did you find a
Open the
still?
yes. I opened the garage door, and it was like
Yeah.
a little barn, right? And I look, and there's a coffin. It's like, what is
Oh,
this?
cool.
And I'm like, there's a coffin in here. It was an old wooden coffin, but it had very strong hinges and even stronger handles. Why is this so well built? What are they trying to carry? Walked
Uh-huh.
around the corner and I started seeing pieces of equipment, and then I smelled it. This is a moonshine still. They were loading moonshine into that coffin and nobody was going to ask them anything. I
That's
was
right.
like, oh my God. It was
It's very smart. That is
super smart.
very smart. Yeah.
So I went into a place. It's let me give you the name of the place because if I'm going to say it, I want it to be right. But it's a distillery, and it's haunted.
Yeah.
It's in Edgefield, South Carolina. And I walked in. It's called Carolina Moon. How funny is that? Because we were just talking about the moon, the
Blue Moon
cafe. Blue
Cafe.
Moon.
Yep.
Now it's Carolina Moon, and
Yep.
they have a type of moonshine that's called rabbit spit. Rabbit
Whoa.
spit, and the way that came
Stunning.
about, the moonshiner was caught, and the judge was tasting the moonshine. He said, "My God, man, that's strong enough to make a rabbit spit at a bulldog." And it stuck, rabbit spit, and that is the original recipe from back then. And they bought the guy's still that actually had made it before. That was the only original piece of equipment. Everything else was new. And I said, "Well, there's a man standing back there." And I told him where. And he's wearing overalls. And I know this is stereotyping, but he doesn't have on a shirt. And he's barefoot. And the lady, her mouth dropped open. She said, "Do you know the history of this place? That particular piece of equipment belonged to the gentleman that made the rabbit spit 110 proof moonshine."
Mm-hmm.
I had no idea. Well, he spent all that time in prison and then comes out, it's legal. And so he starts making all of this money. And he said, "The irony of my life, is what he had said when he was interviewed."
Mm-hmm.
That was his original piece of equipment. We're going back to investigate. I think it's going to be fabulous. I hope he'll talk to us and not be grumpy.
Yeah.
But I'll have some moonshine for you. They have local people.
Girlfriend, I don't drink.
Oh,
I'm
I
a
know.
teetotaler from way back.
Oh,
I drank once in college, and I decided then that I just, I was keeping up with the girls. It was, a party in the dorm. And I decided that night that I'm uninhibited enough. I don't need help at all.
Yeah. Well, I'll have some
expressing
for you.
myself. And that
They
was it. Barely, alcohol has barely touched my lips
yeah, that's why
over the last 50 years.
we were saying that was you were going to be our designated driver wherever we.
Oh, of course. And
Yeah,
luckily, I can drive like a cargo van. I
yeah,
mean, I
yeah.
can.
Well, that's great.
We could have a party. Well, you had sent me a message earlier today. I've just had one of those days where it's like, Jesus God, this phone will not stop. And I saw your message, but I didn't have a chance to respond to it yet. So I'll respond to it tonight on the show. But you had said, we need to do a Paracon together. We need to do an event together. We need to come together. It's been too long. And the History Channel will film it. And I was like, I have to call her. Oh, I'm going to be with her tonight.
Yeah,
But
yeah.
we have to come up. I mean, we're down here in the southeast quadrant of the United States. I feel certain we can figure something out.
We'll figure it out.
I mean, it's not that hard. Erin will pick me up. We'll meet in Savannah or something. I mean,
Yeah, that's a fun place. I've got good
Yeah,
friends there.
yeah.
There's
Well,
going to
I
be
could
some fun.
actually bring Dad and Peanut too. We
Oh,
did
that
an
would be
event at Savannah a couple of years ago, or last year. I think maybe it was last year. I don't know. Since COVID, I have lost all like sense of time and I mean, it's like life began again. Somebody hit the reset button in March 11th of 2020 was, the day that the World Health Organization declared a global pandemic. And it was like a switch went off in our heads. Oh, now for something new and interesting and different. Now, what's this? What does this mean? And 1.5 million deaths later, just in the United States, I think we're starting to understand what this means. And we've all had to make enormous adjustments in order to even be able to go on with life as, with some sense of normalcy as we knew it before. But, for me, everything is BC before COVID
yeah,
or AD after Delta,
right.
because that was that critical period of time where we did not have, any real viable options for protecting ourselves. And again, as well as I do, the whole vibration of this entire planet altered
Yes.
because of fear.
Yeah, and we're
Because of
still dealing
fear.
with it. We're still dealing with it.
And we're still dealing with it. And people like to pretend that it's, post COVID, that, we're all moving on and it's time to go back to our big national super spreader events like football games and stuff. It's not gone. I mean, we're getting to the point now where so many of us have had it so many times that we are actually building herd immunity is
We
what it's
are.
called, where there's just so many members of the herd that have had it over and over and over again. But this is the kind of virus that can morph into something else with relative ease and can, hit you the first time with no symptoms and hit you the fourth time and kill you. And so it's like we've just wanted to put that out of mind, but it's all part of the paradigm shift. All of it is.
I know.
Everything that's happened in the last 5, 6, 7 years, everything is part of this shift that is ongoing now in human consciousness. And I'm afraid the lower vibration beings aren't going to make it. And the higher vibration beings are going to have to heal the planet and heal humanity and stay behind and work through all of this stuff. And I've got news for you. You're one of the higher vibration beings, and you are followed and loved and adored by
Thank you.
countless thousands of people. And
Oh,
you do
thank
make a
you, Andrea.
difference in the world, Lee. Don't ever doubt. I know when you are encouraging me, I am likewise encouraging you.
Thank you, Andrea. I really appreciate that. The things that I've seen with the COVID situation has been I lost my grandma.
I'm so sorry.
Yeah. She made it through COVID, laughed at it. She said, well, she got it. She said, well, okay. And then she went to the hospital and they said, oh, we wish that our kidneys were functioning as well as yours. You're not having any problems, you know. And they sent her home. Matt had COVID. Mama Jenny had COVID. Mom was in the hospital, ended up in ICU. Of course, I couldn't get to her. And I was the only one without it, living in the house with everybody. So I'm running around trying to cook food that nobody could taste and
Yep. Yep.
and just do what I could. It was awful. That wasn't it though. It was after she had COVID that the blood clots in her legs that were, that's a leftover from COVID. She
Yep.
had a pulmonary embolism and the next one hit her heart and that was it.
And that was it.
I lost my uncle, my great aunt, my aunt, Mama Jenny. Let's see. One of my best friends. It's just too many people.
I know. It's been awful.
I can't go through my photos in my phone.
I know.
Because she's dead. Oh, well, he's, it's like,
Yeah.
come on.
Yeah. Yeah. It is, I don't mean to categorize people that die from COVID as somehow being lower vibration beings, because I don't believe that for a second. COVID, we're all equally susceptible to the ravages of COVID. All of us are equally susceptible to it. But what I find is that, the people that I really make that statement more in reference to the extraordinary increase in suicide, the extraordinary increase in accidental overdose death that's happening all over the country.
Yeah. Drug abuse is off. It's just astronomical.
And all of this swirling mass of despair and hopelessness and fear has a decidedly dramatic negative impact on so many of us that it's literally affecting our physical and our mental health, which of course cannot be divorced from our spiritual well-being, our psychological well-being, our being. I talk a lot about allowing ourselves to experience the incredible lightness of being. And yet, one cannot exist without the other. There's no way to distinguish the light without a backdrop of darkness. Again, another metaphor that also addresses the notion of the persistent conflict between good and evil.
Right.
Which is, again, coming full circle back to what made for otherwise good cops become so evil the day that they took George Floyd down. Not only not rendering care, having the hubris to think that the 17-year-old that was filming the entire incident wasn't going to immediately release it on social media.
That's true.
They didn't even go take the phone away from her. One of them could have gotten up off that man's broken body long enough to say, "You, young lady, give me the phone. Give me the phone."
Oops.
Sorry. Didn't, because they didn't think that there would be any accountability for this.
Right.
So she was.
If you look at the George Floyd video, the way that I was trying to channel what that officer was thinking. He was enjoying the thrill of what he was doing.
I felt it too, Lee. I felt that Derek Chauvin was getting off on it,
Yes, he
on
was.
exerting that kind of power over a powerless human being.
Right.
And, this has to, how deep seated is this mindset in some people, some human beings, and particularly, sadly, a lot of men that feel that that's the only way that they can be, not perceived as being weak. Because if they stop and render care and go, oh, I'm sorry. Oh, I know that hurt. I didn't mean it. It was only a $20 bill. We'll take care of it. I'm so sorry. I didn't mean to throw you to the ground and rip your face off. I didn't mean to, clog the artery in your neck and stop the blood flowing to your heart and your brain. What are really, really? I mean, I'm still so angry about man's inhumanity to man and woman and child. And this is something that we have to address. And I'm graced by so many wonderful, wonderful men in my life who find this kind of mindset and behavior complete, total anathema. And among them, my producer, Tony, and Bill, our general manager of KGRA. I mean, all men should be like these two men, and it would be an entirely different world. It would be an entirely different world. And speaking of which, Tony, could you come on for a minute, honey?
He's so kind.
Absolutely.
There you are. I knew you were there. I knew you were listening. I was talking really sweet about you.
I heard. Thank you.
Today. Now tomorrow, wait, no, I'm kidding.
No.
Maybe a whole nother story.
Yeah. I wanted to know, I just heard my mom in the back of the house, and I don't know if Chris heard her to go check. I just need to go check on my mom for a minute.
Go right ahead.
Okay, because mom's in. I'll explain later, but Tony, you and Lee are friends.
Yeah, we're friends.
Carry
we got
on
this.
Just a couple of minutes for me.
Yeah, take your time.
Check on the mother. Okay.
No,
all right.
No worries.
Give her a hug for me.
I will. Okay.
What a sweetie. I love her mom.
She is.
Something interesting that I was going to tell you guys about the same time as this mess in Memphis. I was reading an article about a police officer that stopped a lady who had a brake light out. And she was getting really nervous and trying to get all of her stuff together. He said, you don't need to get your license and insurance. I stopped you because your tail light's out. And she said, oh, God, I just paid to have that put in, and I don't have the money to get that fixed. It's always something, and she started relaxing a little bit. And he said, you know what, pop the trunk. Let me pop the back. And she did. And he was checking and checking. She got out of the car, and he went under, to get to the fuse box, and he switched the fuse out for her and fixed it.
Wow.
He did some troubleshooting for it. Yeah.
And anytime you can do anything that helps somebody out, I mean, like that, I'm sure that didn't take him that long to do that.
No.
It wasn't a huge impedance on his day. But that
she took pictures of him. He was upside down, in the car trying to get to the fuse, and she took a picture of him, and it was so sweet. And she posted it, his good deed for the day. We also have a young boy here. He was attacked by a pit bull. He lives in Georgia, and the police, came by on his birthday. He wasn't in a situation, the child, to have a birthday party, except for family members. And the police came by and left, presents for him.
Wow.
At the door. And he was waving at him through the window, and they had their lights for him and everything. I was seeing all of these things literally interrupted with that about what happened in Memphis. And I said, I think we're over. I understand that we need to protest when these things happen, but we also need to understand we don't give enough credit where credit's due. When people are doing something nice, it gets shoved on the back burner. It's not sensational enough for the marketing gurus and the powers that be to give anybody a pat on the back. Thank you for being
Right.
Andy Griffith,
Yeah,
and doing
that's an
something.
excellent. Yeah, that's an excellent point. And the really great thing about going out of your way or doing something nice for somebody else is that, like you said, the woman who the cop changed the fuse in the car and got things corrected. She's posting that on social media. Why? Because it had a positive effect on her. She was in a bad situation, or what she thought was probably bad, and he corrected it for her. So she's posting his good deeds to all her friends, and when that happens, people turn around, they do a good deed to somebody else, and that whole chain of passing that good deed along or passing it forward or paying it forward has a huge effect on people. And
it does. Let me tell you what I'm going to do. I'm so excited about this. I've already talked to the chief of police because he's in my paranormal group. And my husband makes the best barbecue ribs on the smoker. Oh my goodness. And the police officers here all know it. The whole community knows when Matt's got the smoker going because they smell it, But
right.
I want to have a little, like an open house, a get together for the police. And I have a friend that does impersonations of Barney Fife. I mean, he does a dead ringer for Barney Fife.
Wow.
When you talk to him like this, you don't see it, but when he turns it on, it's like, wow, And so I thought he should come. We could do a car show because all the guys love cars, and I want to do that. I want to do that come spring, and
That's
just have it
awesome.
like a street dance or something. Um, we have an idea in mind for locally something that we do. That's a holiday here, so we were going to wrap that into it. But wouldn't that be
That's
fun?
fantastic. That'll be a great event, and sounds like a lot of fun. So that's awesome.
Yeah, I hope everybody will come out. We've got some great musicians in town, so that'll be fun.
Oh, I'm sure they will. I'm sure they'll all jump in and make it super special. So
Yeah,
that's
if we have
awesome.
problems with the police officers in this town, it's not going to be because I didn't try to give them a happy life and be appreciated. It'll be
Sure.
all on them. There she is.
I'm back. She's fine. Everything's fine.
Good.
Good to
Just
hear.
needed a little assistance. And so I'm on call 24/7.
Oh yeah,
And
I get it.
I'm sorry for slipping away. What were you kids talking about?
Oh, I was just telling Tony about I'm going to do a like an open house for the police department here.
Good.
The chief is in my paranormal group,
Yeah.
and it won't be. We're not going to do anything paranormal because I don't know. It probably we've got two red lights. There's not going to we don't have a lot of people here, so I don't think we'd have a grand turnout. But what I want to do is something more fun. I want to have a car show
Mm-hmm.
and a hot dog eating contest.
Mm-hmm.
Have an open house, and my husband, said that he was going to smoke some barbecue ribs. They are phenomenal.
Yeah.
He's about ready to do his first competition. I think he'll win. I really do. If he doesn't, he does. We do have another guy in our group that has done competitions, ribs and barbecue and things like that. And he said he was going to get with Matt. The two of them are going to enter one. I can't wait. Maybe we could do something then. That would be
that
fun,
would be
Andrea,
so
and
much
I could
fun.
feed you. It'd be so
Yeah.
fun. But I have a friend that does Barney Fife impersonations,
Mm-hmm.
and I wanted to have a car show of cars from the 50s and that, and to have a thing downtown. Hot dog eating and things like that, and in the
Well,
spring.
and here is the real benefit of that, I think. What you're doing is fostering a sense of community. What
Right.
you're doing is allowing people to introduce themselves to each other in a very civil, friendly, open conversation that will help, hopefully, to resolve some of these issues that we face societally. And that's the best way for us to do it in little, our little pockets of community here and
Right.
thither and yon. all, coming together in camaraderie and support. And, I'm sure that the officer that you're friendly with would completely agree with this. That this is part, and in a way, it is paranormal. In a way, it is
It's spiritual, all right.
fostering. It's spiritual, and it's fostering a sense of kinship, that we're all in this together. We have to take care of each other. You know, it reminds me of an incident a couple of years ago where there was a young man. It was somewhere here in the South, I believe, and he was having a nervous breakdown. He was having um, an episode, a psychotic episode, is what
Uh-oh.
was happening, and his mother called for help, and they ended up putting a bag over his head, and he basically suffocated. Um, because he was spitting. And so they put a bag over his head. It was right in the middle of COVID. And they handcuffed him and they put him on the ground, and somebody, put pressure on his lungs and he couldn't breathe. And he died later, later in the evening or the next day from the stressors on his body. And he needed help. He needed help, not restraint.
Well,
He
look at
needed
children
help.
in the school. There's
Right.
children that have mental problems, some
The
sort of challenge.
6-year-old that
Exactly.
just
That
shot
was,
his teacher.
yeah.
You know, first of all, how did he get a hold of a loaded gun? There's, that question. How did he know how to use it? How did he have the presence of mind to bring it to school, threaten other students with it? 4 people informed the administration of the school that the child had brought a gun to school and was threatening others with it. And the administrator basically said, well, the school day's almost over. Let's just, send him home. And that's what happened. Okay, now people are being fired. People are resigning. People look at Uvalde. We've got anybody that says we don't have a problem is willfully ignorant. Anybody who says we don't have a problem has their head so deeply in the sand that they're suffocating from a
Yeah.
lack of uh, factual information about what is happening in our society. I saw, Lee, I thought of you when I saw this too, because you're so into helping people with suicidal ideations and, wanting to leave this plane of action. And you've done so much good work, um, helping your fellow human being, that I know you get this. But I was watching, it was an Ipsos poll, which are usually very reliable, or a Pew poll, Pew Ipsos. It was a combination poll that was done nationally through 2 separate, distinct pollsters that took their information and put it all together. And it was about last year at this time, I think, when this poll first surfaced. And the questions were very pointed, very direct. And one of the questions was, have you in the last 30 days thought of harming yourself? And 25% of the respondents said yes. Thousands and thousands of people were polled across the United States, and the demographic group that they polled was from age 18 to 30. And 25% of that population said that they had considered harming themselves in the prior 30 days. That is horrifying to me. That's, if you look at the population as a whole, That's millions and millions of people that are suffering from despair, that are suffering from grief, that are perhaps confronting death in their own families from COVID or other factors that have exacerbated it, that have magnified the sense of loss and grief and hopelessness that we've been feeling.
You just hit a nail on the head. The whole world is in a grief cycle.
Yes.
And I feel like we are in the anger stage of grief.
Yeah.
Because of so many people we've lost. I know that 17 soldiers, veterans, 17 soldiers a day commit suicide. 17 veterans commit suicide a day.
Yeah.
And
and we have a VA that should have an outreach that is virtually non-existent. They can go to the VA for help,
if they can get in.
If they can get in. But what apparatus is in place for the VA to go out into the community and find the vets that are living among the homeless, find the vets that are in crisis, find the vets that need to be taken in and housed and given proper nutrition and given, but my sister and I had a conversation about this the other day, and we were talking about what's going on with immigration and what's happening at the border and the flood of people that are coming in who have countries that are in so much upheaval that they will literally walk for 2 or 3 months and face God knows what kind of harrowing experiences for the chance to get into this country. Yeah. And I said, okay, Chris, I go to LA more frequently than I would like to. And it's hard to go to LA for me because it is a place that has glaring discrepancies between in the population. Like every underpass that you drive, with a highway going over it, there are whole communities of homeless people. And as you're driving through, you're seeing a Rolls Royce and a Lamborghini and a this and a that. Every cars that if they sold one of those cars would lift all of those people up out of homelessness and give them a fresh start and a second chance. With the sale of one of those cars would just bring all of these people in. And I said, well, Chris, my father's a veteran. I get it. I said, but what if you come across 2 families side by side on a sidewalk living in tents, and one family is a veteran and his wife and his kids that, he's struggling emotionally, mentally, is not able to hold a job, has, PTSD, is fighting just to stay alive. And then the family right next to them is a family of immigrants that have no place to go and are lost and living off begged food. Which family do you save? And we just looked at each other and simultaneously we said, both. Because they're all human beings.
Yeah, they are.
And they all deserve the proper respect and the helping hand that we as a society can certainly afford to do. It's not a question of that. I mean, just what gets wasted, just what gets wasted in the Department of Defense every year. $600 hammers and shit like that. That's all still going on. It's allotting the money. We can do this. It's just a matter of will, because we we have to be honest enough to admit that there are people in society, not just in our country, but worldwide, that are simply not capable of taking care of themselves,
Right.
that rely, for whatever reason, for, whether it be poverty or, for whatever reason, that they need and will always need assistance, will always need guidance and support, are not going to be able to lift themselves up, get retrained, get re-educated, get another job, buy a house, hold down a mortgage, pay for the car. There are those among us that are incapable of that, whether it be from mental illness or disabilities. Remember back in the 80s when mental institutions basically ceased to exist in this country. And all of these people who had no ability to care for themselves were basically turned out into society to fend for themselves. I remember back in the Atlanta Olympics when the mayor of Atlanta was sending out a crew of people with one-way tickets to anywhere they wanted to go, to clear the streets of homeless people, because the cameras of the world were going to come to Atlanta, and they wanted to clean the trash up off the streets. They even referred to it as that. These are people, and about 25% of them were veterans. And they sent them to Houston, and they sent them to Dallas, and they sent them Orlando, any other place. Here's a one-way ticket to wherever you want to go. Gather your belongings, get on the bus to clear the streets of Atlanta before the world came to see what was happening in the city that's, a 40-minute drive from here. Okay, what we need to do is start thinking in terms of human dignity, human compassion, and empathy. Lee, when did we lose our empathy, our ability to put ourselves into the shoes of another human being, if they've got shoes, or stand barefoot in their bare feet and feel their sense of deprivation and loss and despair and hopelessness and find a way to lift them up? That's empathy. That is caring for another person. If I am my brother's keeper, I am my sister's keeper. You have studied philosophy, you have studied history, you're one of the most well read individuals that I know, well educated individuals that I know. And you know as well as I do that every major text, philosophical, religious text that has ever been written has as its fundamental tenet the notion, what we call the golden rule.
That's
do
right.
unto others and would have others do unto you. As I like to put it, do unto as though you are others, because to someone you are the other. That's where we are.
Yeah.
I wasn't sure if she was going to drop out. Her audio was coming in.
Okay.
She made it through. You're absolutely right, Andrea. You're absolutely right. When did we lose our empathy? When did we stop seeing our neighbors as our responsibility?
Right.
But Lakota tribes actually prophesied that this was coming because of the right after the French Revolution. that was when the majority of that type of prophecy started coming out. And they said simply, if you don't take care of the people around you and you're not taking care of the earth and these animals that feed you, and you're not showing gratitude for the food that you have, and you're killing for sport and you're ruining the earth and you're not sharing what you have, and you don't care what our spiritual father thinks of what we're doing here, um, it will not be long before you will be in a severe need. And they said the Lakota believed that that would be how mankind would end, unless something changed. And that's one of the reasons why when I do my radio show, I talk about, like, take for instance, I can't believe we are on again, we're in sync. I was explaining about a homeless shelter, and this is a British charity, okay? And they have a homeless shelter, and what they do, it's called Action Hunger. The shelter actually passes out cards, and the cards are for the homeless only. And there's toiletries and food that has been donated from restaurants that may have gone in the trash, or there's books, there's antibacterial lotion, toothbrushes, toothpaste, sandwiches, energy bars, anything that can really be of help, socks, things like that. And they are using these machines, these vending machines that are no longer in use.
That's brilliant. Now that's brilliant.
Yes, I'm sending it to you in our chat, a link for that, because why can't that be contagious instead of COVID? It just takes a little bit of
brilliant. Yes.
Do it. Let's, maybe we could do something like this and at least talk to some people about it. I don't have a lot of homeless people around my area, but I go to a lot of these cities that do. And I want to talk with someone about this. Now, within the reservations, there's a lot of donations now. After the government screwed up COVID, because when a lot of these reservations asked for help, they sent them body bags and toe tags.
Yeah.
They didn't send food and treatments and things like that. No. They sent body bags. I mean, it was a real in your face F you.
Yeah.
So, but now, these our wonderful little tribes are starting to get help. There is a serial killer within the tribes, mostly in and around the Crow reservations and out west. It is a male, according to, well, the victims are women and they're sexually assaulted, so clearly it's a male, right? And he goes into the tribe and he will take a woman and they will either disappear or he sexually assaults them and kills them, and then they're found. But he has been doing this for over a decade now. And the reason why it's working for him is because the tribes are their own government, and there's more land than there are police officers, and there's no money to be able to get help from outside. So part of this is trying to bring this together, food and medicine and things to offset education, a lot of things to do with like Department of Social Services for children's, feminine needs and things like that, birth control, things like that, are going to the tribes. It's finally starting to see, we're starting to see some effort, and some help. So maybe that's...
Well, that's happening too, because the woman who is in charge of land management, I can't right off the top of my head remember the agency, but it's a cabinet level position, is American Indian. It's the first time that that's ever happened.
Yes,
and
it is.
I know that she is prioritizing these needs the Department of the Interior,
There
I
it is.
believe.
Yes.
And I'm ashamed that I can't remember her name right off the top of my
It's a
head.
unique name, yeah.
Yes, it is. It's a unique name, and she's a unique woman and a very strong role model for all women, I think. Really an extraordinary woman with an extraordinary history. But it's, sometimes it takes change from within. There needed to be somebody appointed to that position that understood what the needs were of the indigenous tribes, what's left of the indigenous tribes in North America,
Thank you.
and prioritizing it.
Her name is Deb.
Yeah.
Deb Highland.
That's it. Thank you.
Uh-huh. I
Yeah,
had to look it up.
Yeah.
Oh, she's beautiful. She's
beautiful.
Pueblo. Yeah,
Yes.
she's Pueblo. So
Yep,
she's
Pueblo.
Aztec Indian.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep.
Beautiful lady.
I can't believe it, sweetheart, but we're running out of time.
Oh, I can't believe it.
God. 10:47. So before,
is it? Oh my gosh.
So before we have to leave this episode of A World Awakening, I want you to take a few minutes and tell people how they can connect with you, because you're so good. If somebody reaches out to you, you're all over it. And so I want, people in the Buttercup Brigade and my group, my tribe, particularly, yes. And my followers, and of course our followers on KGRA worldwide, to know more about you now and know how to reach out to you and maybe come into part of our shared community.
Oh, I would love that. I'm Leitreanna Brown, and if you just get the first name and Google it, it pops up because it's so unique.
Yeah.
You can contact me on familyspirit.net. The name of my little series of books that I'm writing are Family Spirit. I've got 5 books that I'm writing, not at the same time. I've got one out. The second one's coming soon. I have a second book that's Parapsychology 101. That's an indie book, and it's actually selling extremely well. I'm so thankful. And I also teach at Piedmont Technical College in Greenwood, South Carolina. I teach Ghost Hunting 101, 102, Your Psychic Journey, and now Advanced Ghost Hunting. And so you can reach me through the college. But FamilySpirit.net's the easiest way. I just finished filming with Hulu and the History Channel a TV show called Repossessed. I'm with Mo Sargi, who is a YouTube sensation, paranormal investigator, really fearless guy, and Marika Simon, who is a researcher, and she's on Instagram. Very busy lady. I think she's got like 85,000 followers. And we travel the globe looking for haunted objects. And with that, you have to understand there's usually a trauma. So with a haunted object, so there's a lot of healing involved, a lot of tears shed, and sometimes a lot of giggles. You never know. So thank you for having me, and that's the easiest way to find me, familyspirit.net, or just put my name out there. And I do belong to a group called the Dominion Ministries, and we specialize in severe cases, and we have friendship around the globe of people that are willing to help.
Yeah. I really do believe, Lee, that if we put our mind to it, because thoughts are things, if we generate what we want to see this world become, the beauty that we know can exist in the world, the camaraderie that we know can exist, the kinship that we know is reality.
That's right.
The unified oneness of all of us, the realization of our oneness. If we continue to work in this vein and put this out in this way to each other and reach out and lift each other up and inspire each other and have not just sympathy but empathy for each other, and this thing that we all share, the human condition, that we can and we can help heal this planet of its woe.
I totally agree. Very, very, very eloquently put, as usual, Andrea. I do want to just throw out there positive affirmations only work if you say them and believe them. When you speak them, write it. That's why it's called spelling. It is powerful. It is a type
Yeah.
of way to claim your blessing, but that does not mean that you have rose colored glasses. Having respect also means having accountability, and that is a fine line we carry. Do you mind if I quickly um, say a blessing?
Please do.
Okay, so this blessing is for all of you to keep this close to your heart. Listen to the wind because it talks to you. Listen to the silence, it will speak to you. And listen to your heart because it knows. Don't trust what you see, trust what you feel. Trust your instincts.
Yes. Always trust your instincts and your intuition. They will never steer you wrong. That is all part of the third eye. It is all part of our greater mind, the mind that we share in terms of our shared experience and consciousness. And the more that we lift each other up, raise each, I can tell you, my darling, I feel a lot better now than I did 2 hours ago. And that is because even though we've discussed some difficult things, truly difficult, we've done it in communion with each other as a prayer, as putting into the cosmic collective ideas that bring us together, that strengthen us in our sisterhood and our brotherhood, and that lead us to a greater appreciation of each other, so that atrocities like what we've all had to bear up under today will become less and less frequent, to the point where we have ascended to a higher level of understanding, and this kind of brutality ceases to exist. I have to believe that we can attain that as long as we love each other well and work together. So, on that note, hang on the line after we leave, because I want to say something to you. Don't leave. You don't
Okay.
leave. But
Okay.
the rest of this, I will leave you all with the same blessing that I close Soul every Monday night here on KGRA. I always say, class, be the light you seek. Be the light in the world. Be the bright light in the firmament. Be love. Thank you all for joining us tonight.